I just want to say, like technology is not my thing when it comes to live webinars and live interviews, but I made this my 2022 challenge, and this is why I've delivered so far 8 HR webinars. And in Urban Yoga Lab, we had the opportunity to invite some fantastic experts like Selen. So far, we have run 3 interviews with some amazing award-winning experts who represent Urban Yoga Lab team. So I'm so excited, and I always say yes to challenges that they make me be outside my comfort zone. For many people, think that I'm an extrovert, but the reality is that I'm an introvert. So doing those type of things always takes me outside my comfort zone. And this is why I'm so happy today, because I'm not with a person that, I just happened to meet yesterday, but I'm with a woman who inspires me every day since I met her almost kind of a year ago, I think, Selen. So I officially want to welcome Selen, and I just want to say that it's an amazing nutrition coach and life coach, and she's also an expert in Urban Yoga Lab, so is our go-to person when it comes to nutrition, and we always highly recommend it to our clients and our network. This interview today, in fact, is all about that. So Selen, thank you so much for accepting my invitation at first place. So lovely to have you here.
Of course, thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited to talk about nutrition and how it affects employee well-being, corporate wellness, and as you can tell, I'm so passionate about nutrition and wellness and making it easy and accessible for everyone. So yeah, I'm so excited for this discussion. Thank you so much for having me.
This is wonderful, and I just want to say, for those of you who are live on Facebook, feel free to ask questions in the comments. I will check from time to time to see if there is any questions, any comments. But also, for those of you who are going to watch this interview later on by our YouTube channel, or LinkedIn, Instagram, again, feel free to reach out directly to me or Selen if you want to ask any kind of questions, or if you want to, share your ideas with us, So I want to give a short introduction. Just for those of you who don't know, Selen Gulbahce is a qualified nutrition and lifestyle coach with a background in computer engineering. She empowers her clients to break free of the diet culture and build lifelong habits that provide them with increased energy, better sleep, helps them with stress management, and sustainable weight loss if that's their goal. She is the creator of an amazing kind of signature nutrition method called Alka-Terranian method, which is a method that combines the principles of biochemistry of alkaline nutrition, which focus is on plant-based food, with the flexibility of a Mediterranean diet and lifestyle. Selen is Turkish, so that also helps when it comes to Mediterranean diet. So this diet, this kind of nutrition that she recommends, is a proven effective and science-based method since 2015. Using her Alka-Terranian method, she has coached over 4,000 people. She had 80% success in terms of her programs to help her clients achieve their goals, and 70% of her clients feel confident, comfortable to keep maintaining this diet, which is incredible. So in terms of today and her role, her role in Urban Yoga Lab, what does it do is empowering busy professionals to follow a healthy lifestyle and gain knowledge to maintain progress. So she makes the process of reaching wellness goals attainable and accessible. She offers group coaching, but also one-to-one kind of coaching. And previously, she has collaborated with brands like Soho House, Soho Works, and Press London. So now I feel that you're able to see why Selen is one of the most inspiring people I know. Selen, I always find your story fascinating. So can you tell us a little bit more about your journey in nutrition? You know, how did everything started at first place?
Of course. First of all, thank you so much for the great introduction. I think it explains everything. But just like you said, I have a background in computer engineering, and how I got into nutrition is a little bit of like because of my own journey and my own story and my own challenges in the past. So I'll start with that, like how I got into nutrition. So yeah, as you mentioned, I'm Turkish. I'm from the Aegean Mediterranean part of Turkey, which is very close to some Greek islands like Chios Island. So I grew up with Mediterranean diet culture, with Mediterranean culture, let's say, not diet culture, Mediterranean culture. Yeah, I grew up in Izmir. I was born and raised there. And then I studied computer and electronical engineering in Turkey. And when I was studying computer engineering, I did a study abroad program in United States, in Philadelphia, for 2 semesters. And when I was there, in 2 semesters, which is like 6 months, I gained so much weight because of the standard American diet, right? The big portions, fatty, basic carb-rich foods, and also like packaged foods, processed foods. So I gained so much weight when I was in the US. And then I came back to Turkey, and then I finished my studies. I got my degree. I started working in corporate life as a computer engineer. I started working in one of the largest banks in Turkey in digital banking. And as I was working there, I was constantly trying to lose the weight I gained when I was in US. So I was constantly dieting. I would try any diet that comes out there. You see on any diet, you see on the magazines, you see on the internet, at like a stupid diet my friend is telling me. I would try any diet in the world to try to lose that weight. And I also tried a couple different nutritionists as well. I worked with a couple of different nutritionists as well. But what was happening is it was like I was going on a diet, and then I was losing 3-4 kilo, which is like 8 pounds or something, not too much. And then I was gaining it all back. I was losing it, I was gaining it all back. So I found myself trapped in that constant yo-yo dieting cycle. I was like losing a little bit, not a lot, losing a little bit, gaining it back, losing a little bit, gaining it back. And with that, so I was literally harming my health with dieting, with jumping from one diet to the other. And on top of that, my career and like my the stress of a busy corporate life added to it. So I ended up really having like serious health complications. I started having serious digestive issues up until to the point that I had to undergo colonoscopy and gastroscopy procedures at the age of 24, which is a very young age to go under that procedure. So what happened back then is the gastroenterologist that I worked, that kind of like found the reason of my health problems, he told me to start. So he kind of like shaked me a little bit. So he was like, Selen, you need to stop dieting. You need to stop trying every other diet you find in the internet or on the magazines. You have to change the way you eat. You have to look at it from a more lifestyle change, more habit change perspective. And that's the only way you can heal yourself. Otherwise, you're going to have serious health problems. And to be able to heal my digestive issues I was having back then, he told me to eat more alkaline. I was like, what does it mean, alkaline? And then I started researching about it. And you mentioned it briefly in the beginning, alkaline diet, alkaline nutrition. I started researching about it. It's mainly plant-based diet, lots of vegetables, nuts and seeds, spices, fruits. It's mainly plant-based diet, like almost, yeah, it's a total plant-based diet. So I started researching about alkaline diet, and I deep dive into it. I have that like nerdy part of it, and I was trying to heal myself as well at the same time. So I started researching about it. I started applying it to my life, to my and back then, which is crazy, I wasn't trying to lose weight. That time I was trying to heal my digestive issues, but I ended up losing weight, and I ended up losing 14 kilos, which is like almost 30 pounds. So I lost all the weight I gained when I was in the US, and a couple more kilos on top of that. But my goal wasn't to lose weight. My goal was to heal my digestive issues, but I ended up losing the excess weight I had anyways. So I got so inspired. I also healed my digestive issues as well. So I got so inspired with the results I was getting. And I started thinking, okay, that's cool. That's great. Alkaline nutrition is great. It made me heal myself. It made me lose weight very fast. In 14 kilos in 2 months. I was very impressed. But then I was thinking, okay, but how I'm going to sustain it? How I'm going to keep it as a lifestyle? Because it's not easy. It's a mainly plant-based diet. A lot of foods are off limits. It's restrictive. So I was like, how will I keep it sustainable? So I started exploring how would I do it. And then I decided to, because I'm Mediterranean, I'm Aegean, I'm very familiar with Mediterranean diet and lifestyle elements. So I started combining that alkaline nutrition with Mediterranean diet and lifestyle. And when I say Mediterranean diet and lifestyle, it's not just diet. You know it, you're Greek. So you know it, like it's more like, it's eating is an activity in itself. We eat with friends and family, we eat mindfully, we spend time with our loved ones. And in Mediterranean diet, there are no restrictions, there are no like cutting out food groups. It's like everything in moderation. So it's more flexible. So I decided combining it with Mediterranean diet. And that's how I formed my own Alcaterranean method, which I got trademark in 3 countries now. And and then I got so inspired with my results, and I saw that I'm able to sustain it. I never gained that 14 kilos back, and I'm still healthy, never got my digestive issues back. So I'm like, and I was so inspired. So I wanted to help other people to do the same as well. And then after that, I become a qualified nutritionist. I started getting educations about it. And then I quit my full-time job. I moved to London. I got more education about coaching psychology, psychology of behavior change, health psychology. And then I became a member to UK Health Coaches Association. And then, since 2015, I have coached, just like you said, over 4,000 people to reach their goals without dieting with my Alcaterranean method. So as you can tell, I'm so excited to talk about. I'm so passionate about what I do. And I don't like diets.
Yeah, this is fascinating. I mean, it's really fascinating. And what fascinates me is that, we both have so much in common, if you think about it, right? Because you used to work in the corporate world, same way as I did. You had a wake-up call in terms of, you face an adversity, a big challenge, same way as I did with my mental health. And then you went through a kind of self-healing journey. Same way as I did. So we have, from day one, since I met you, I felt like we have so much in common.
And that's just one of them.
And it's interesting that we both created our own kind of toolkit, each one of us, our own kind of methodology, our own toolkit. And then it became our life's work to share this with as many people as possible, because we know how many people actually need those kind of tools, need those type of practices, which is unbelievable. And I feel like when I meet people like you, I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one, the crazy one, I feel like, I belong in a tribe, and that makes me feel so much empowered, Selen. Every single time I hear your story, it's just so empowering. So in terms of conventional diet, because that's what you just mentioned earlier, I was reading a lovely book the other day by Mark Bickman, which is called The Food That We Eat. And in this book, there's a point where Mark actually mentions that conventional diet culture causes much of our stress around eating because of false expectations. As a result, we view food as a reward or a punishment. And that's I can totally resonate with that. And that's why I personally feel that we need a sustainable nutrition, right?
Yes.
So, and a sustainable nutrition method like Alcatarian method that you just mentioned earlier. So can you tell us a little bit more of what makes this nutrition method sustainable?
Yes, I think it's exactly just like what you said. That's such a great quote, by the way. Seeing food as the reward or punishment is the product of the dieting culture, which is causing a lot of issues. It's causing the main problem is, like, I think, the dieting culture, because so when it comes to dieting, I think when a lot of people, when they decide to go on a diet, right, quote unquote, they decide to go on a diet, and then what they do is, like, they pause their life, they try to fit into that diet, they say no to social occasions, they say they don't go out, they say no to traveling, they cut out a lot of food groups, they go all in, they're like, I'm not gonna eat gluten, I'm not gonna drink wine, I'm not gonna drink coffee, no sugar, and then they go like all, like, it's kind of like that black and white thinking. So they pause their life, they follow that diet, and then they reach their goal or may not reach their goal, but then they unpause their life, they go back to their old habits, and even if they did reach their goal, it's not impossible, it's not possible that they would keep it sustainable, they can't maintain it because of the dieting culture. So instead of pausing your life and try to fit into a diet, we need to find a way, we need to find a nutrition and eating pattern that fits into our life without us pausing our life. So that's the key about, like, I think that's the reason why diets never work. And the quotation you just gave me, it's because a lot of people, when they start dieting, they start seeing food as the enemy. But the main enemy is your mindset. If you think like so much like all or nothing thinking, the black and white thinking, then dieting becomes really unpleasant. It's not pleasant. It's like a punishment. Like, you don't, it's like, because the dieting culture cuts out a lot of food groups. I don't know, like calorie counting macronutrients, too much restrictions, and it's not fun. It's not pleasant. It's not sustainable. So the main difference of my Alcatarian method is, just like you said, there is no restrictions, there is no cutting out food groups, there is no calorie counting, there are no food groups are off limits. So it's more about like balancing it and learning how to incorporate it into your life. And to create that Alcatarian method, I combine the biochemistry of alkaline nutrition, which is like eating mainly plant-based. It helps you reach your goals very, very quickly with the biochemistry of alkaline nutrition, but I combine it with the Mediterranean diet and lifestyle to make it more flexible, to make it more easy. So that way you can reach your goals quickly, but you'll be able to keep it sustainable because you're not restricting yourself. So that's the main difference.
This is, this makes sense. And I remember that very first day I met you and we've discussed about, healthy eating habits. And you told me that you don't believe in diets and you never recommend your clients to do any diet. I found this like incredible. Like, I was like, is this even real? I was so amazed. And every time I hear you like describing the method and the main kind of principles, the fundamentals, I can see how that makes sense. So in terms of eating on autopilot, right? Because that's leads us to my next question. I personally feel that eating on autopilot is one of the main challenges when it comes to unhealthy eating patterns.
Yeah.
And I want to just confess something. When I used to work in public relations, after a really long day at work, I used to go back home and I used to stuff my face with food in front of the TV. Or I used to have 2 or 3 glasses of wine. I remember my sister was asking me, why are you doing this? I was like, look, this is my coping mechanism, right? I had a really kind of intense day. So that's my way to distress, to relax, to decompress. And it took me a while to realize that this was not healthy. This was not nurturing for my overall well-being. So as the founder today of Urban Yoga Lab and as a corporate well-being expert, every single time I get to meet senior HR leaders from big corporations, the number one concern I get to hear is that their employees struggle with emotional eating, binge eating, overeating. This is a common kind of struggle. And my question to you is like, because at the same time we see employees struggle with all the wrong diets, as we said before, what do you think, what's the fundamental thing that is wrong with dieting today? And what's the main reason you adapted, as we said before, a non-diet approach into your coaching? How can you help, your clients by not needing themselves to take this kind of wrong diet, right?
Yeah. So I think, so what you mentioned is a great example of like, it's one of the common patterns that I work with my clients as well, that I see very often: stress eating, emotional eating, binge eating. And it's so common. It's almost everyone's problem. And again, it's the product of the diet culture, because just like you said in that amazing quote you gave, when we see food as a reward or a punishment, then what happens is like, and when we think it's like, when we think with like black and white thinking, all or nothing thinking, then what happens is like, so when you see a lot of people who faces the problem of emotional eating, stress eating, or binge eating, the majority of them have a dieting background, or like they did diets in the past. They're trying that, they see food as the enemy, or good food, bad food, labeling foods.
I used to be one of those people, so yeah, I can help.
Me too, like exactly. So like here, our study group, 100%, right? So so stress eating and the binge eating. So obviously there are a couple of reasons behind it, but from my observation with my clients, one of the main reasons is, again, dieting, seeing food as, so what happens is like, especially busy professionals, especially high achievers, which is, they are like, so those people, busy professionals, they're working in like good companies, in good positions, they're working hard, they're high achievers. They are mainly, because they're high achievers, most of them would have perfectionist tendencies. So they want to be perfect at what they do. And then when they decide to eat healthy, when they decide to go on a diet, they want to be perfect. They want to just cut out all the gluten, all the sugar, all the packaged foods, everything. And then once they eat a bad food, then they feel like, no, I couldn't do it. I'm failing. I couldn't do it. So I'm such bad. Like they feel guilty. They regret. And then those kind of like negative feelings cause them to eat more, because like you feel like, okay, it's gone. Today is gone. Like I already ate that chocolate. Now I'm just going to eat the pizza as well. Now I'm going to drink 3 glasses of wine as well, because today is gone. I'm going to start tomorrow, or on Monday. Right? So what happens is like, it's all or nothing thinking. It's black and white thinking. So it's all mindset shift. So if we change our mindset from that to, for example, what if I say, let's say I had such an amazing breakfast. I had a smoothie, a nice, I don't know, scrambled tofu, eggs, whatever. And then great lunch, quinoa salad. And then when it came to dinner, I felt like having a little bit of a dessert. So, and I ate it. So instead of feeling guilty about it, instead of being angry at myself, what if I say, I'm doing great. I had such an healthy breakfast and lunch. Whatever I do is a plus. I ate that cake because I wanted to, and it was really tasty. It's good I did it. I'm just going to move on. So if we change that, if we did that mindset shift and get out of that dieting mindset, and I was like, okay, whatever I do to my health is a plus. Instead of it's not a performance game. And I think a lot of people sees it that way, and it can cause binge eating, because what happens is like they eat that chocolate cake and then they feel like I failed. So I'm just going to eat this. I'm just going to eat that too. I'm just going to. So I think one of the main reason is that. And the other reason is very tied to the area you are working and your expertise, which is a lot of people uses food to suppress the emotions that they don't want to feel, such as stress or anxiety or
100%.
Yes. So again, what happens is like they feel stressed, and then they feel, okay, if I eat this, I'm going to feel better. But in reality, maybe they feel better for a couple minutes, but in the end, they don't feel better. So I think it comes to, again, everything, wellness, health, nutrition, it's all like has to be holistic. So I think to deal with stress eating, I think we need to find better coping mechanisms for those feelings, such as stress, such as anxiety, such as boredom, such as anger. So if we have better coping mechanism like mindfulness, meditation, movement, breath work, and if we have those in our toolkit to use when we feel stressed, then in time we will be less likely eating that food to suppress our stress, I think. So those two major problems are that I'm seeing very common.
Yeah, actually, I loved what you said about emotions that are associated with kind of harmful eating kind of habits. And these are emotions of guilt, shame, kind of perfectionism, right? Our tendency to want to be perfect, because so many of us deep inside us, we don't feel worthy enough. So for so many reasons, right? But I loved what you said, because those emotions are so much associated with our relationship to food. But what I wanted to mention about emotions, right? When personally myself, when I've discovered how to actually identify those difficult emotions in my body, and then I learned how to digest those emotions emotionally, mentally, physically. Only then I was able to release those emotions instead of suppressing them constantly. So I really love what you said, because mindfulness is so important when it comes to healthy eating. But another thing that is really important, and I hear this all the time, is consistency. Because for me, when it comes to building healthier eating habits, the main struggle that I see with employees I work with is consistency. So when it comes to being consistent with our health and wellness goals, especially for busy professionals, why do we think like most people fail, and what can we do differently?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of reasons to it. I think the main issue when it comes to consistency is, or when it comes to following your health and wellness goals, is the main issue is, I think we put a lot of emphasis on willpower and motivation. So we want to have perfect willpower. We want to have all the willpower. We want to have we want to feel motivated all the time. But in reality, I believe motivation is overrated. Like, you don't need that motivation and motivation is unreliable as well. It's sometimes you feel very motivated, sometimes you don't feel motivated at all. So, and also willpower is like that too. Actually, there's a psychological research that is done on willpower, which is mind-blowing, that I just found out a couple of months ago. So they did a psychological research about willpower, and apparently willpower is a limited resource, and it is a daily limited resource. So every day we have a quota of willpower, and whenever we use our willpower, we use from that quota. And it is not just health and wellness, it's about everything. So we make a decision about work. We use our willpower to go to work. We use our willpower to wake up early to prep for that meeting. We use our willpower every day for every other thing, and it has a daily quota. So at the end of the day, when it comes to making decisions about nutrition and exercise and lifestyle, our willpower quota is over, with nothing left over there. So we can't, I think it's the reason is like we're putting too much emphasis on willpower and motivation, and they are very unreliable. So if we rely on them, we are setting ourselves up for failure. So instead of putting a lot of emphasis on motivation and willpower, if we just like you said, put the emphasis on consistency. Like, I don't care if I'm motivated or not, I'm just going to do it. Or planning in advance. So if you plan in advance for, especially that's another biggest challenge when it comes to busy professionals, because they're busy, they're always on the go, they're working, they don't have much time. They come home after a very tiring day at work, and or they finish working if they're working from home. They finish working, they're tired, they don't have much, they're hungry, and there is no ready-made, like there's no ready prepared food in the house. So it's easy just to order a pizza, or it's easy just to snack like a sandwich or something. So again, and it's so difficult to use your willpower at the end of the day, because you used it all day for other things. So if we don't think, like, if we don't put that much emphasis on willpower or motivation, if we just plan in advance and put emphasis on consistency. And when I say plan in advance, I'm not telling you that you need to cook every night for the night. No, you can just, like, literally, what I tell my clients is you can literally block 1 hour a week in your calendar, Sunday mornings, whatever, like what's convenient for you, 1 hour a week in your calendar, and you can do weekly food preparation, just 1 hour a week. And then you have, like, literally, like, you can boil some eggs, put them in the fridge, you can steam some vegetables or cook it with olive oil and put them in the fridge. You can boil some quinoa, put them in the fridge, everything. And you can literally do those in 1 hour at most. And then throughout the week, when you feel ready, if there is ready cooked food that you can quickly heat, and you don't need to heat if you don't want to, I think it will be convenient. And then you don't need to use your willpower, because you don't need to make a decision. It's ready. You already decided on the weekend. So I think the biggest challenge is we're putting too much emphasis on, like, motivate. I hear that a lot from my clients. I'm not motivated, or I don't have time. So I think we need to tackle those issues. Like, you don't need to be motivated. You need to be consistent, and you don't need time. You can just literally, if you can do it, like, and you can, like, it's so easy, for example, in London, to order healthy takeaway. It's ordering a pizza and ordering a healthy bowl takes you same effort. It's here, it's in the mindset, I think.
Totally agree with you. And I love what you said about motivation. I've never, ever seen motivation through those kind of lenses before. So this is like eye-opening. Thanks for sharing. I so much want to take a look at this research, and we'll make sure we share the link with all of you guys. Yes. In the comments. So we talked about our lifestyle, right? But that I feel leads us to my next question, which is, how do, like, stress, sleep, and movement affect our overall wellness, and also our nutrition kind of habits? How do those things, affect? And also, what is the most important advice would you give to someone who wants to adopt healthier eating habits and just to embrace a healthier lifestyle in general?
Yeah. Okay. I think I'll start with the most important advice, because that's quicker, faster. So I think what I always tell is that one important advice that I always tell my clients, tell everyone, is, I think, shifting your mindset from removal mindset to addition mindset. So instead of thinking, when it comes to nutrition, instead of thinking what I should be removing, what I should be taking out from my diet, we should think what I should be adding more to my diet. So instead of saying, I'm not going to eat this, I'm not going to eat that, or I'm going to eat less gluten, less sugar, just switch it over and say, I'm going to eat more vegetables. I'm going to eat more plant-based food. I'm going to eat more whole foods. Don't say I'm going to eat less carbohydrates. Say I'm going to eat more vegetables. So when you say that, when you shift from removal mindset to addition mindset, you are mentally, it's not restrictive. You're not giving that restriction signals to your brain. It's more empowering, it's more fun and encouraging. And in the end, the result is the same. When you increase the whole foods, the processed foods will decrease, right? But you're not saying, I have to remove it, I have to decrease it. So I think always, like, we need to, like, you go to a restaurant, and instead of, yes, let's say you go to a pizza restaurant and you want to eat pizza, instead of saying, I should eat less pizza, say yourself, I should eat more vegetables. So order a big salad in the middle and increase your vegetable intake. And that's going to automatically decrease the pizza amount you're eating, but you're not giving your brain the restriction signal. I think my favorite recommendation is that, shifting your mindset. Yeah. And the other question you mentioned is that we kind of like touched base a little bit to that stress and how it affects nutrition and sleep, movement. So again, we need to look at the whole picture holistically. Everything is so integrated, interrelated. So for example, I'm just going to give you, for example, if you're just prioritizing your nutrition, but you're not prioritizing your sleep or stress, you're not going to success, like you're not going to achieve the results that you want to achieve, because you're just like targeting one variable in that equation. So let's say if you're not sleeping well, let's say if you don't focus on better sleep, and so what happens is, like, when we have lack of sleep, when we can't sleep well, when we have lack of sleep, we secrete a hormone called ghrelin. Ghrelin is a hunger hormone, and we secrete it more throughout the day. So ghrelin levels increase. So when you can't sleep well, you constantly feel hungry. So that's going to affect your eating patterns, right? Or stress. When you feel stressed, what happens is, like, we secrete another hormone called cortisol, and cortisol hormone makes us want to eat more of starchy, fatty, sugary foods, because that's how the cortisol hormone works. Like, so what happens is, like, when we are stressed, it gets so difficult to not snack on sweets or packaged foods. The same goes for sleep. When we don't sleep enough, it gets so difficult. And also, when we are stressed, we can't sleep well. When we can't sleep well, we get more stressed. So it's a kind of like a loop. So we need to target all areas, which is movement. You said movement as well. Again, when we can't sleep well, we don't have enough energy. When we don't have enough energy, then we can't exercise or move enough. So it's like, we need to take a look at it holistically, I think, again. And again, coming back to just like what you say, having little tools in your toolkit, like mindfulness, like what you said, like labeling the emotions in your body. It's such an effective tool. And can you, like, it's going to help your nutrition as well, because again, next time you feel stressed, instead of eating that, I don't know, bag of chips, you can just give yourself a couple minutes to label those feelings, to stay mindful, stay grounded. And most probably you won't end up eating that bag of chips. But we didn't do anything about nutrition here. We targeted our emotions. We tried staying mindful. So they all affect each other.
Yes, I totally agree with you. I mean, they are all so interconnected, interlinked, right? Like, this as a kind of big puzzle with hundreds of pieces that they're all like needed to make sure that we get to experience, well-being on all different aspects and 360-degree kind of aspect and all aspects of our lives. But as a corporate well-being expert myself, I get to hear all the time by mostly kind of senior HR executives. I get to hear that they want recommendations when it comes to employee well-being programs, that they offer evidence-based, actionable, easy to follow tools, tips, and hacks that will help their employees from day one. And I know that you do offer those kind of options via your workshops and your webinars, via your fantastic employee well-being programs via Urban Yoga Lab. So can you tell us a little bit more about this series of workshops and webinars?
Yeah, of course. As you can tell, I'm so passionate about talking about nutrition and wellness, and again, making it easy and accessible for everyone, just like you said. So I have a signature workshop series, which I love hosting. The workshop series called Revolutionize Your Diet. And I hosted that workshop series with Soho Houses multiple times, with Soho Works, and a couple of other big enterprise companies as well. So in that workshop, I talk about my Alcatranian method and how to integrate it into your busy life with simple, practical tips and tricks without dieting. And I give such easy to apply tips and tricks, and how to do it on a busy schedule. And then I also like to talk about, in the same workshop series, I like to, just like what we spoke, combine it with other aspects of wellness other than nutrition, just like improving sleep, increasing energy, managing stress, or exercise routines, and how they affect each other with, again, very practical, easy to use, simple tools that they can take with them. And also a couple of in the same workshop series, which is Revolutionize Your Diet workshop series. In some of them, I hosted it while I was hosting it. I also did some recipe tasting my Alcatranian recipes, which are 2-minute recipes. You don't need any time or any cooking skills. They taste amazing. They're easy, they're tasty, they're healthy. To make it more fun, and also to show that it's easy and it's accessible, and you can actually eat tasty and healthy food without spending hours in the kitchen. I like to inspire people, let's put it that way, because I think it needs to be fun, it needs to be enjoyable, and that's what I want to make it feel like.
Unbelievable. It's so great. I mean, every single time we had those conversations about the things you offer by your programs, I know that every single time you add something extra and something like those kind of mini recipes you just mentioned. This is mind-blowing, and I know that this is a great thing, because I've seen and I've experienced this in programs before, when workshops become more interactive and engaging, when employees are invited to respond and to practice with the coach or do something with the instructor. That helps so much when it comes to the overall engagement and the overall success of an employee well-being program in general. And I feel that this leads us to the last question. So I want to ask, what are the incredible benefits of the Alcatranian method? And can you share a little bit about what makes this method so special? And then, if somebody wants to work with you on a one-to-one basis, how can they actually do that? What should they expect as a result of working with? Yeah.
Of course. So Alcatranian method, just like everything we spoke, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. It has a lot of it's evidence-based, obviously. It has the elements of an alkaline, it has the biochemistry of alkaline nutrition with combination of Mediterranean diet and lifestyle elements. And Mediterranean diet is the evidence-based gold standard. It's the most researched diet out there for longevity. So it's evidence-based, it's proven. I helped over 4,000 people to reach their goals with my Alcatranian method. So it's proven, it's evidence-based, and it makes you achieve wellness goals such as improved energy, just like we spoke, increased energy, improved gut health, improved immune system, better skin and hair, or weight loss, sustainable and fast weight loss, if that's your goal, if that's their goal. What was the other question? The other question was, how can they
work with you? Yeah, how
Yeah.
can they? Yeah.
So I offer one-to-one coaching programs and group coaching programs as well. And in my one-to-one coaching programs, it's very like high-end, intimate. It includes daily coaching and tracking, on-the-spot feedback. And my group coaching programs are also where I educate. I in all my programs, they are non-diet. They are with non-diet approach. I educate my clients to kind of like implement, to integrate my ALCA training method into their lives. And then I want to make sure that once we stop working, they don't need me anymore. So I really like teach them the basics. And actually 70% of my clients that I worked with in the past, they claim that they're able to keep it sustainable because I do surveys to them after 6 months of us stopping working together. So yeah, you can maintain it. And if anybody is interested in working with me, I'm offering a special discount to Urban Yoga Lab, which is going to be 25% discount. So what they can do is, if they have Instagram, I go by Selen Coaching. So they can just shoot me a DM and mention that they watched this Urban Yoga Lab interview to get their discount. Or again, they can go to my website, selencoaching.com. Easy, selencoaching.com. So they can go to my website and fill the application form and mention that they came with Urban Yoga Lab. And yeah, that's how they can reach out to me.
That sounds amazing, Selen, and thank you for sharing a little bit more about your signature Alcateranian method. I mean, personally, since the day we spoke, I'm such a big fan and a big believer of what you do and the way you do it, because you actually help others to access an effortless, easy, sustainable way of building a healthier lifestyle. It's not just about nutrition, because I know, as we mentioned before, you advise them on every single aspect of their lifestyle and their well-being. So this is wonderful, and I feel like so excited that you are part of Urban Yoga Lab team, so we can actually offer your services to our clients when it comes to special events or a thematic kind of program or an awareness day or week. So there are multiple ways our clients can actually work with you via Urban Yoga Lab. And we highly recommend that you let us know via email or just a DM that you would love to work with Selen, and we will make this happen. So yeah, again, I want to say I'm so honored and proud that you are part of our incredible team, Selen, and I'm constantly inspired by you. So and thank you so much for coming today and being interviewed by me. Yeah, I really appreciate it, and I had such a great time today.
Thank you so much. And it's vice versa. I'm constantly inspired by you, and you're doing amazing work and you're inspiring a lot of people. And it's like, I'm so excited to be working with Urban Yoga Lab because of that, because we are on the same mission, which is so exciting.
It is. So I highly recommend everyone who would like to reach out. We are both very kind of active on our social media, so feel free to reach out. And also, I just want to say that we're going to have another interview with one of our experts. It's going to be in January, and I'm not going to disclose the name of the expert now, but we are going to announce it very, very soon. Also, I want to announce that we are going to run Urban Yoga Labs in-person event, first time ever. in collaboration with All Brights as a female-only members club here in London. So we are going to run a special event just for our clients, just for our network. That if you are one of our clients, if you are one of our partners, feel free to reach out so we can share an invitation with you guys. And yeah, we're really, really excited. Another thing I want to mention is that I'm going to be one of the key speakers on the Wealth Tech Summit, which takes place in March 2023. And we are going to share a special link where you can get your invite for this amazing event as well. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for being with us in this kind of virtual space here. And Selen, again, thank you so much for making the time, and thank you for your lovely energy.
Of course, thank you so much for having me here. It was fun, it was nice, and yeah, speak to you soon. Thank you so much for everyone watching as well.
Look forward for the next time. So have a lovely, lovely rest of the week, everyone, and speak to you soon. Bye, Selen.
Bye.
Cheers.